And it is time for some FACEIT League. What is up, friends? We're kicking off some NA Expert here tonight. First Flame Heatwave taking on Iliad Artemis. And you can see them right on top of each other. We don't have to go down very far. Heatwave, one of your three remaining 6-0 teams coming into week 4. Iliad Artemis have only dropped one series, and that was, well, to their sister squad in Iliad Helios. So apparently the only people who can beat Iliad is Iliad thus far. That was a 5-map banger too. You know, and I've been talking like, you know, Artemis has, I think, traditionally been the varsity squad for this team. Hey, speaking of the Iliad squad, appreciate the follow, appreciate you being here. You know what? They're going up against one of your other 3 remaining undefeated teams here in Heatwave tonight. So, big test for Artemis here. It's our first look at Iliad Artemis on stream this season. Not really much changes. The only change I noticed coming through from Season 3 was Ducka's come onto the squad. It is Artemis's 3rd season in the league. There's actually some interesting parallels between these two as far as the history of these two squads here. Both have been mainstays since Season 2. And, I mean, you had Heatwave come out with the better... regular season, 3rd place finish, but probably, a little bit more disappointing playoffs. Kind of an opposite story where, Artemis drop one more map in the regular season, but have a slightly better finish in playoffs. Going into Season 3, pretty darn similar story. They both end up as 9-5 teams. Artemis has the better placement. So Heatwave with the better regular season finish. Artemis with the better playoff finish. Heatwave in Season 3 in particular went out 0-2, and I know had to sting for the squad. So both teams feel like they have been in reach of making it into Master Division, and have just kind of fallen just a little bit short each time. I mean, as such, they have, as far as my mind, have become staple, mainstay, top-end competitors here in Expert Division, for now 3 seasons in a row. And I think either of them are poised to move up and actually move on into Master Division, for the first time into Season 5. I mentioned just the one change there in the DPS role for Artemis. Heatwave have made pretty much entire roster change coming in. We got our first look at them last week in that 3-1 victory that they had to kick off the week over Hivemind Villains. On the back of, Captain Dimitri in the tank role, was either, played a lot of, kind of just played a lot of everything, honestly. A little ground and pound, a little poke, and some Sigma on a couple maps there out of Dimitri, a little bit of ball and diva dive, both. So Heatwave definitely, we threw us a lot of looks, threw Hivemind Villains a lot of looks when we had them on last week. Here, taking a look at Iliad Artemis record so far here for the season. That's probably their most significant win, is that Phoenix Guard win. I believe that's Phoenix Guard's only loss is to Artemis. Other than that, they take Helios to 5. So, clearly a top team. I think that's significant in of itself, and just how strong, what do they feed them over there, this Iliad squad? Oh my goodness, Iliad Esports. But the opening 4 matches, not particularly top-tier opponents. Super Pizza is a great name, and it makes me want pizza. We are seeing a similar story on Heatwave, where they've gotten a lot of opponents from the lower half of the bracket early. A couple of these, Nightmare Unit and Zenith, are forfeits. But you do get that Hivemind Villains win. New roster looking very good. So, this has all the makings of a banger here before us. Truly and utterly. Of course, perks are in play. Have it in play here since last week, right? We were seeing expert teams playing with perks on both Wednesday and Thursday. Last time we saw Villains versus Heatwave, as a matter of fact, the aforementioned matchup, and they were playing on perks that day. Oh, hey, we're at map bands. We got the ball band out. Samoa has been picked by Artemis. Team on the left getting pick on control, and we will alternate through all 5 maps. For anybody unfamiliar with FACEIT League here, we're going to do all of your picks and bans for both maps and hero bans here at the top of the series. So we'll have all that information before we even get into our first map of Samoa. And then we'll just kick off, and it's just like back to back to back, boom, boom, boom. Sometimes teams don't even give me time to look at stats before we're right in the map 2. Okay, I appreciate your patience. It's time to get into map 1. Let's get into Samoa here. Hey, I'm feeling this one is going to be worth the wait. Like I said, to just mainstay staples here in NA Expert. Always a treat to watch, and always my margins get broke. Always my margins get broke. What the? They're not even showing broken in the settings. Okay, okay. I feel robbed. I feel robbed. I checked that. Starting off on beach.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we are getting Gemini. I'm guessing this may have been part of the hesitation. Dimitri is not starting here for Heatwave in the tank role. So we saw Heatwave playing last week. First time getting a look at Gemini. We're getting both of our teams rolling out with those Ramatra comps. And we are seeing that Sumatra, as I mentioned kind of in our little pregame there, looking at the perks, that we have actually seen some Symmetra stick around for more than just a rollout. You can see why. Gemini ends up surrounded, melted down by that beam. Although first cap does go over to Heatwave only momentarily as Artemis clean this up. Ooh. Everybody conversion. I think all 4 players, their conversions damaged on the Kurma. Gemini swaps to a Winston coming back in here for this next approach. Try to avoid the Ramatra. Well, right now just going for a little bit of bridge control. Yeah, ideally wants to get back on that Sojourn, perhaps on the Symmetra. Alongside Karma, who's switched over to Avenge. Sure, they're able to move in underneath, but what can they do from here? Some damage in on the Pain Car. Spingar still looping it around from the other side, but they're not able to converge at the same time. So everybody gets out. Everybody from Artemis heads up to that high ground. Continue rush now thrown down low. The Maverick just jumps into the rush. Going fox hunting and monkey hunting. Artisan won the second fight. 53% counting on the board. It's not whoever... Not exactly. It's whoever finishes top 4 after playoffs will move to Master Division Fuji. So whoever finished top 4 after playoffs are done. So regular season notwithstanding. Gemini with their 3rd tank swap here of the map. Good orbital down low, and everybody from Artemis is just able to kind of bunch up into that. Good opening pick there. Using just the orbital, they are on top. There's the Annihilation poured in. 92% helps secure a kill onto Freak Dorado. Ducky with the overclock. Trying to keep Hex from getting a touch. Hex. Oh, not able to quite get up to that sound barrier in a dominant first round. Yeah, according to what they just released, it's top 4 now, Juice. And there's no relegations. Looks like there's only relegations for Master to OWCS. Otherwise, it's top 4 finishers after playoffs from Expert Division move up. Bottom 4 finishers from Master Division, so whoever finished the season 9th through 12th move down. Gemini comes out with yet another tank. Pulling out the Zarya. Hey, you know what I was saying? I didn't expect to see the Zarya. There's some Zarya. Try to use that bubble, help kind of pocket Kurma, and looking for some quick picks, but really good positioning here from Artemis. They're able to fortify this side room. What would that be? The tourist center or whatever that is? Visitor center? Yeah, systematic push around the outside. Spingar with no slide, not able to get out of there. Woo. Gemini very low, ducking around the corner. I mean, once again, we're seeing Heatwave come up with a cap. Despite losing players early in this, Kerma still getting bubbled, still trying to put pressure down. Struggling to get to any meaningful targets. Needs to get on Ducky in the back, or perhaps one of the supports. But Maverick's been gatekeeping it so far. Now we're going to get the orbital thrown back in on that front line. Maverick will get melted out of that mech. Ooh, the grab. Oh my goodness. Skids Hex with the remech. Sound barrier landed. Hex didn't quite build theirs up, but it looks like the grab will get it done in the end. Maverick's able to sneak away with a kill on a Spingar. Kind of here in the final moments, and we get a pause. Oh, and it's Flex Birdo getting booted. That's unfortunate. Apparently we're just going to keep playing in a 4v5. I mean, honestly, not bad for a 4v5. All right, gotta love that timing. I'll get rid of the funny song since we're back at a 5v5 in an actual match. Overclock ready to go. Spingar holding on to that through the 4v5 with Ducky spinning theirs, I believe, through that previous fight. Make sure they can secure that one. We did get Kerma investing the tectonic, excuse me, the excavation. Yeah, that's right, tectonic shock. That is both photon barrier and the orbital ray thrown in over the top. Maverick running down Kerma. I mean, look how far they have just separated the squad. You got Gemini and Spingar are caught here in the visitor center. Artemis regrouping, speed ringing right into a Graviton Surge. Oh, and Karma just emerges underneath the fight too, but it is traded there by Maverick. Teleport on the outside, Pain Car tries to think can help solidify this map, but Maverick goes down, just gets overwhelmed on the front line. Hex is still here, hanging on to this 99%. You see that extra boot coming into effect there. That's all five. Hit by the sound barrier. Spingar moving forward. 85% to their own ultimate. Got one headshot in an orbital ray to help bolster the remaining. And 2 picks here on the battlefield for Heatwave. Tectonic shock out of Kerma once again. I feel like they got that up pretty quick. But I guess it's on par with everybody else. That was our 4v5 music, Ed. That was our 4v5 music.
Ready for battle.
I mean, to be fair, they won. Well, I mean, here we are. We're on Volcano. So, you know. Now it's going to become a ritual. You know, flex support just going to bail halfway through just out of superstition.
Capture the objective.
All right, so we got the Void Surge. We also got the, like the aggressive. Oh, shoot, I can't even think of what it's called. That thing. The one where you can explode in air. I always see everybody using the regenerative. What is that thing called? God, too many names. Just too many names in my brain. Ravenous Vortex. There you go. I always see everybody using the regenerative vortex. And that was what, the Vengeful Vortex or something like that? I've never seen anybody using the Vengeful Vortex. It does do more damage. Oh, Gemini, doing plenty of damage to Pankar there on the outside, able to loop around, find squishies. Exactly as you should be with the Zarya. And particularly going into, I mean, what is a very just sustained kind of focused brawly comp, kind of death bally comp out from Artemis here in this third point. Really nicely played, isolate some targets. And Heatwave, find those opening picks. Hey, you know what? The story is flipped here, though, as it's Artemis who sneak out first control, and Heatwave who actually come out winning the first fight. Orbital throwing in on the front line. Spingar finding Mardox with that 4v4. But Maverick missing a bit of sustain here in this tank duel, and that is one fully charged Gemini. We still have somebody cut out on the right-hand side, I believe. Maybe they got out. Curved Nation, I have a Kermer. Doesn't quite have the same ring to it, but I respect the attempt. Oh, Kermer coming in on the flank. Oh, true. Get him down. Kermit just smashes Industrial. That with the sound barrier with it. That was a Drill Jacks for you, friends. That was a Drill Jacks. There you go. There you go. You wanted some Kerma. You now. Okay, now I have a Kerma. Now I have a Kerma. Quack with the overclock. Maverick showing us a bit of extra damage there from the Vengeful Vortex. A little bit already invested into this as well, and a nice little 1-2 tap on to Kerma. Get some revenge there for the Drill Jacks. I might have to go make a short of that. That was spectacular. That's going to overclock in for Spingar as well as a Tectonic Shock out of Kerma, trying to combo into this backline, but they overextend into that corner, end up getting punished, losing both of the aforementioned DPS ultimates. Maverick will melt the rest here with this Annihilation, and that's just going to be all she wrote there for Heatwave on that point. That's going to get us close to tied up about 80-85%. Oh, good stick for Pankar and a freak Dorado. What a huge play. That might just deliver the map. Pankar with the big clutch stick, the very end. And that's the orbital off the board, not to mention the sustain, the speed. And impeccably done. Now a sound barrier to secure this finish here out of Iliad Artemis. And they will take Samoa. Now up 1-0 here in your Monday night matchup. Submerge with Maverick. Oh, here, let's get the background music on. Some stats there for map 1. Maverick, I mean, 37 and 7 right out of the gate, jumping out of me. Most deaths on the team, but also most elims, most damage there for Artemis. Neck and neck, actually, with Gemini, who does take most in the lobby. But unsurprising with the Zarya. The damage output on that Zarya is just ridiculous. Question is, can you secure the kills with it? Can you win the fights with it? And it was close, but especially once we start looking at the stat sheet, you can see just how much in front Artemis come away with that opening map on Samoa. Do we see any subs? So we're going to see Dimitri come in here for Heatwave. That would be the big question mark. You know, and we saw Gemini coming in playing a variety of takes before finally settling into that Zarya. So we'll see if that ends up being the answer. Does Heatwave try to continue with that heading throughout this series? Now, they are going into their own map pick at this point. So at least for hybrid, they got to choose where we're playing. Headed to Eichenwalde here. Don't get to see a whole lot of Eichenwalde. It makes me happy. Makes me happy. It was new Bonnie band out there from Artemis. And we do actually get the Ramatra band. So the Ramatra band comes in from Heatwave. Again, Artemis kind of perma-banning far right now. Get a map too. No, Dimitri. Gemini staying in and showing us the Zarya here initially. Defense, though, a little more confident what they're playing with the double speed Marga composition. Pankar with some good finishing capability with those stickies, or excuse me, with that focusing beam as well. So a brig Juno here for the back line. Trying to keep Gemini alive, just barely hanging on that corner. Maverick actually ends up taking a good amount of damage in their own right and just retreats back onto the point. Right now, just ducking in around the card itself. There's the speed ring and a little juke on the over one, but Maverick has put themselves back down inside the house. And Gemini happy to follow in. Ends up being a little bit of a bloodbath, though. Perhaps it was Heatwave who got baited. Duck comes out with 2. And the +1 goes over to this defense. They're going to stabilize. Gemini is still left over here. Gets that kill on the Mardux. We're going to build up as much ult charge as they can, but that is the end of that attack. Ooh, Spingar don't get staggered. Oh, it's Hex that gets staggered out. Spingar with that early ult, 20% ahead of what Duck had, but you do have Industrial with the sound barrier online. Ends up finding that kill. Orbital Ray assisting here on the attack, though. It's Kerma's already dashed through a couple. And that's going to be it for this point. 2 attacks in. Heatwave will get the cart on the road. See if they can start getting this battering ram towards the castle. Starting with the high ground setup. Yeah, Paint Card doesn't want to let Gemini and Kerma kind of get entrenched underneath here, particularly so early while they're trying to stage. You know, still in a bed and kind of figuring out their approach. This is going to be a drop down there from Maverick. Rally popped, and Maverick just has nowhere to go. No chance of getting out of that one alive. Hex is going to continue to rock forward. And the Brig getting a ton of value here, able to keep the back line nice and robust against these Malga dives. What do we got? We got the, oh, I don't remember the name of it, but that's the perk where your whip shots give you an extra 3 seconds of Inspire time, I believe. Unsurprising, that seems pretty strong. Overclock from the high ground. And that is, Gemini dropped to grab. I did not even see where it went. I mean, there's a couple of assists in the feed there, so looks like it worked out. Had to be on the high ground from where Duck was originally positioned. The blade from Kerma to clean up on the back of the fight. Oh, Paincar's duplicate gets the blade. You've got a low Hex. Oh, get some good healing in. Freak Birdo is here to back them up. Hex with the tech to get onto the high ground. Gemini, drop it down. Get down, Mr. President. Oh, but Maverick comes through with the critical slam. Takes Freak Birdo out of the fight. Can Gemini and the rest of Heatwave get it done despite missing their Juno? So far, it looks like a big resounding yes. Gemini immediately turns around and gets kills on the both supports coming out from the stairs. Hey, I just realized something. Oh, rally here from Hex. Trying to hold on to this. Ooh, but Gemini gets melted on the point. Maverick may just be able to anchor this down. Ooh, that is a lot of damage, though. Oh, I didn't count on the orbital ray, and, well, that's the ticket. Maverick never saw it coming either. I don't think I have player outlines on. Yeah. I was just thinking, like, wait a minute, I don't have player outlines. There we go. Much better. I turned them off for doing thumbnails and stuff. That's a 5-player grab in the back. Blade right into the middle of it. Oh, yeah, I don't care how many sound barriers you got. No way you're surviving that. Well played out of Heatwave. That was enormous. What a wombo combo. Look for that one on your highlights of the week. That was insane. Maverick will go down and get the cage fight. Honestly, lucky to even get the cage fight up at all, which they are going to turn around and use to take Gemini out of this fight. Paincar with a duplicate, and we got double Sojourns running through. Try to see if they can isolate Heatwave in this side room, and I think it might work. No, Hex has the rally. Hex has the rally. Spingar puts the shots down. It turns out one Sojourn is better than two. At least when you got Hex there to back you up. Suddenly, I mean, Heatwave are still in this thing. Can they disengage from this orbital in time? Maverick puts themselves out of it and vulnerable to a counter punch as the orbital invested a little bit far back there out of Heatwave. Not over the corners, I think would have been ideal. The Ducks overclock falls a little flat on the other side. Industrial with sound barriers. I mean, the next ult coming online. Got to keep an eye on Gemini here in the back, though. Has the strength to get it done. Karma is able to dash through, trying to build to the rest of their ultimate as well. Maverick goes into the back line with a huge overrun. Shields up, bubbles there. Can Hex survive? Hex goes down. The torpedoes from Mardix not only keep Maverick alive, but put Hex back in spawn. And the defense stabilized after a very prolonged fight here to fend off Heatwave. And that was on a nice edge through multiple ult cycles. That was intense, y'all. What a map. God, where's a one attack? That was just the past 2 minutes have been action-packed. In fact, honestly, this whole series has been action-packed so far. It's been so good. Watch out for Pankar there on the outside here with the recent swap over to the Venture right into the middle of the cage fight. 2 quick picks. 37 seconds to go, and that was a fast team fight win there from the defensive Artemis. Seconds. It's an orbital out of the defense. It's away from the grab. The grab looked good, but Pankar. Pankar comes up with 2 prior to the ult, gets Pankar after popping the tectonic. And not even the rally is going to be enough to keep Pankar at bay here on the rock chewing venture. You gotta love it. Oh, gotta love it. The newest DPS, perhaps the most overlooked as far as skins and cosmetics. Gotta love the Rock Cruncher. Huge burst damage and Pankar putting it to Heatwave there. Huge 4K at the end. What a swap. Coming out of that just a kind of combo with the cage fight. Smart play. Smart play. I'm sticking with the silly music until we get a 5v5. I'm just letting y'all know. Hey, with 7 seconds to spare. And get your ass on defense. The Birdo is here. The Birdo is here. Artemis ruthless. No hesitation. Just run down Gemini. Birdo does get a sleep in onto Maverick. And actually some low health bars here. The purple is just a touch late though. Maverick's able to get top back up. And it looks like the 5v4 might have cost Heatwave here on this first point. Though, you know what? Karma has other plans as a Spingar. Oh, look at the peel. Nobody messes with Freak Birdo. Not if Karma has anything to say about it. Whoa, that dropped down. Maverick heading into the back line. Has a little help from Pankar on this left-hand side. And really, the back line is trying to keep Kermit at bay while they give Pankar and Maverick time to get work done. Dak finds the line onto Hex, though. Gets that sight line in. Kermit takes the damage, drops it. The Death Blossom picks up 2 before they finally go down at the hands of Industrial, but it's enough to stop this progress. Stop this attack. Hey, I mean, I admire that Freak Birdo can play at this high a level and is you know, not doesn't have the same high quality PC that a lot of other players have. Like y'all gotta put some respect on that. I mean, memes aside, gotta put some respect on that. That's a spin guard. Nano to overclock coming in out of the back line. The Kerma's already dead. Duck drops an overclock of their own right. Tries to leap up to the high ground. We're going to get the Kitsune Rush thrown in from Marnox. And it might be enough here. Spin guard did pick up a couple of in that orbital ray from the other side, though. The volley of stickies might be the end of Freak Birdo. The duplicate will actually finish them off. Paincar is going to take Spin Guard down with him as well. Now taking on the OG Diva. Paincar is in duplicate doppelganger baby form. That final tick picked up. Hey, I actually saw the 2 hearts coming in handy there. Yes, Reapers. I don't know what was up. We're still getting a little bit of Reapers. You know what I mean? That's a valid point. What that's we're using where Wraith form reloads your shotguns. It's a cage fight out from Maverick, just right out Main Street. Whoop. That's a teleport there from Kerba. The entirety of Artemis came down there to find him, though. So, that was unfortunate. That was unfortunate. They're going to quack fighting for high ground here. You do have Spingar was trying to hold it down, see if they can find that precious off angle. Eventually, they are finished off, though. All eyes from Artemis now pointed at this door. Gemini demech deleted. And that should just be the beginning of the end of point B. Big Bionade lands. But that's the cap. Gemini trying to bait everybody in here. There's the rush. There's the Nano Death Blossom in the back. Able to get Paincar with it, but everybody else kind of ducked into this right-hand side. Nice read. And then a 1-for-1 trade. Oh, what a huge Bionade. Self-destruct thrown into the back is the Sound Barrier unleashed there out of Artemis. Ends up split on the opposite side of an orbital ray. God, I'm not sure who's going to come out on top. Looks like the trades favor Maverick. Favorite kind of goes into the back, and I thought Artemis might have been 2 split apart. But it turns out that Heatwave just got surrounded, find themselves in the mismatch. Big play out of Maverick to find that pick in the back line. But they're the ones that moved in and found Hex early in that fight, just after the orbital ray hit. Cage fight on the point. That's going to hold Freak Birdo in. The on is now gone. A quick return on Amalga here from Gemini with Spingar's overclock to try to help get this done. But the defense looking like they're just going to collapse here. Duck on Quack with a couple of picks to finish it off. And Iliad Artemis. We'll take map 2. There you go. Some stats from map 2. Very close. My goodness. And a huge damage lead out of the DPS. Now, obviously, Maverick's damage, Maverick and Freak Birdo. You can't count their stats. I was like, wait a minute, opposite teams. Maverick left to help keep the timer going. But still, the DPS damage coming out from Kerma and Spinkar. Wow. An 18,000 Eichenwalde, I mean, that is enormous. A lot of damage. I suppose that part of that is just having Amalgam on the other side. You know, is going to absorb, you know, just kind of is able to face tank a lot of damage. So that's got to be part of it. But an extremely close map too. And that was a Heatwave map pick as well. So going back into push, this will be an Artemis map pick here for map 3 to try to seal the deal here in a 3-0. See if they can knock out one of the 3 remaining undefeated teams here in the expert division. Artemis fighting to leave their sister squad Helios as one of the only 2 on top. I feel like Artemis is like the person right behind, you know, people climbing the mountain and grab at the ankle of Heatwave, pulling them back down to their level kind of thing. That's what they're trying to do right now. She's calling the Heatwave reverse sweep. They're gonna need it. They're gonna need it. And Gemini is in fact staying into the tank role here for Heatwave, heading into Esperanca. What'd you call it, Maddie? Fish for something? All right, let's double check. Double check those bands. Let's see, the Far band from Heatwave. Diva banned out there from Artemis. Wait, or was it the other way around? Other way around. Far up banned out by Artemis. Diva banned out by Heatwave. Our 2 birds are arguing. Freak Birdo is calling foul play. Huh? Huh? All right. Gemini back out here. We're getting the Juicio backline. And Kerma picks up a Torb here. Interesting. Okay, so I mean the Torb obviously hitting the meta as a defense for Hazard. I don't know if, you know, maybe they were expecting something a little bit more divey coming out from Artemis, but Artemis stick with that longer composition, and anything that comes close just ends up in the sights of the foul one here, now holding high ground. Oh, it's pain carré. It's French for square bread. Gotcha. Pain carré. Thank you, Maddie. Jim able to sneak in. Oh, just takes so much damage trying to come get this touch. Kerma's there to back him up. Gemini stays alive. Good heals there out of the back line. Ducky ends up down. So good return out of Heatwave. They don't give up the checkpoint. They're able to come in, kind of solidify some high ground. That was a yeet on that turret. That thing flew low. My goodness. Hex with a 20% sound barrier advantage. Quick teleport across the gap here. Try to grab some high ground. This could be a dangerous spot here for this orbital. An orbital over that bridge could be deadly. Give me a speed ring. Throw it on the edge. Orbitals come out over the courtyard, and sound barriers. A message from both teams as well. Ends up being a bomb thrown in from one side. Spingar trying to see if they can clutch it with the overclock. There's that grab. Gemini goes down to get it up there. Gets quite a few in the grab, though. Still, Pancare is able to pick up the final kill on the Freak Birdo. That might just take the sustain out. Yep, with a kill on the Hex as well. I think Pancare has got this one in the bag. What's French for Symmetra Def? Or I guess what's French for 3K? Would probably be a little more polite. Either way. Okay, in that fight, I think both were true. Ooh, Freak Birdo low. Marduk's a good pick. How does Marduk find that? Yeah, Marduk came in very aggressive. And a really nice job there out of Iliad Artemis. They end up just surrounding Heatwave up on that high ground. I mean, I certainly didn't expect Marduk to come sweeping in through main as they did. Ends up being Hex and Spingar left in this fight, though. Spingar coming up with a late pick. Maverick doesn't have any sustain left, and yet another fight just goes down to the gritty end. And Heatwave slowly but surely chisel away at that lead. Keep an eye for Ducky heading up to the window. Quick drop down. Maverick able to control the bot, but just to send it back through the arch. Now what do you do? Okay, we got two going up top. Spingar in a bit of a duel, but here comes the flick on the outside. Maybe a bit distracted, trying to find Duck in that window. Maverick's able to get in on him. Hex is going to drop a three-player sound barrier, try to turn this 4v5 around. Getting some Gemini pop here on the outside. Kerma is picked off, separated from the team. There's Olay bubble. Oh, it was almost perfectly timed, but had to reload at just the last possible moment. Oh, that was so unfortunate. Like an extra 5 energy in the gun. And I think Gemini is able to get that kill on the Maverick, perhaps even save Freak Birdo through that. Maybe not, but man, what an unfortunate time to have to reload. You're doing a cage fight out of your Heatwave. A slim 6-meter lead, just a little bit over. Double overclocks, double orbital, double raise. Duck on clock with a great shot there from the high ground. But this kind of just muscle it through approach does end up kind of working out there from Heatwave. They're able to force an issue there in the back line. Kerma with a good molten core kind of molded the battlefield. Beautifully done. Got a lot of the high ground, did some damage on the drop down, was able to pick off those who couldn't drop down. So I love the move. I love the move. Throw the molten core down, brute force it across, make Artemis uncomfortable, and Heatwave were able to get the checkpoint and the lead on the back of that great push. SimDiff would be SimDiff, or potentially Diff Sim. You know what? I learn something new every day when you're here, Maddie. Maverick had started to overrun, got caught by the grab. Is that what I saw there? It doesn't look like the overrun had initiated because I think the overrun would not have been interruptible. But that was just a frame too late, looked like, for Maverick to escape that. But alas, it ends up being an enormous ultimate, enormous graviton surge. Both shortened to death. Abigail Variable, thank you for the follow. That's a cool name. Oh, her Pancare go over to Pancare, excuse me. Go over to this Reaper. It's already built up close to this Death Blossom. It's kind of getting hunted here by Hex on the outside. Hex does not hit Freak Birdo with that sound barrier, but Maverick got stuck down in Yellow Bus, was not able to pursue the Juno through the archway. It looks like the rest of Artemis is kind of trapped on this high ground. Duck is able to find one before sliding away, though. Great trade there out of Ducky. Now slide back in, see if they can help Pakare out. Evict the rest of Heatwave off of this point. I hiccuped, as did Pakare's death loss in there, unfortunately, for Artemis. Spingar's gone all the way through and back around. Gemini dies on the front line, where an orbital ray is crisscrossed for both of our squads. Now the Spingar overclock into effect, but Hex is down. Just trying to slide away, get some kind of value out of it. When it's all said and done, though, with dust settling, Maverick's still here. Joker says your game's on map 5 and this one's still on map 3. Yeah, we had a late start. We had a bit of a hiccup in the beginning getting started. Overclock off this high ground into the cage fight. The cage fight does get broken by the molten core, but those overclock shots still land true. Maverick brought down, but it took the entirety of Heatwave to wrestle the Maga to the ground, and meanwhile, it's just fish in a barrel there for Ducky. Ducks in a barrel? Punkaway gonna shadow step up to the high ground. Ooh, that was a grab interrupted, but the grab is still good. Hex gets 2 amidst that. A late orbital ray thrown in. It's just Marduk's and Maverick here to try to hold on to it. Maverick going over to Romatra, by the way, coming off of that Malga here in the final minute. But moving back against Artemis. Then Maverick just desperately trying to toe the line between staying within range of the team, not letting the bucket too far away. Vortex kind of holding Hex in the corner there for a moment. Man, would that have been a great pickup there for Maverick. Artemis still need the checkpoint here. We got double support ult available for Heatwave. They have all the tools needed here to send us to that map 4. Gonna take a pretty heroic play for Artemis to get this done. There's the drop down with the orbital at the back, and Spingar unleashes that orbital ray. Excuse me, that overclock. The OC already found both supports. You just pin Punkaway down in the nook, and that is the map. Heatwave will get rid of the goose egg. They're not going down that easy. Go, some stats from map 3. That damage output from Kerma and Spingar. Impressive. I mean, not only an impressive just sheer amount of damage, but also impressive that they're within like 200 damage of each other. Still looks quite even as far. I mean, if you're looking at deaths and team fight wins, right? Still feels so very close. The Elim advantage definitely there. You can see where the DPS slide just kind of narrowly coming out on top. Just narrowly. Hey, and now we're back into a Heatwave map pick. So they're able to win on push for Artemis's map pick. So they'll get choice on Flashpoint. I believe it was Suravasa. Like, no big surprise there. So it's not the strongest map pick. But hey, is it the start of something beautiful here for Heatwave? Is this the start of the comeback? A little bit of momentum, a little bit of wind in their sails, no doubt. And Gemini making this Zarya work. You know, I was talking about a couple maps ago that, you know, it felt like on Samoa, Gemini was swapping through multiple tanks. We're kind of finally settling into that Zarya. And then, you know, it finally find some success with it, getting the rhythm on it. And, you know, a little bit of changes in the DPS line and kind of mix and match, and actually the support line as well. But they found some success there with the Lucio Juno. I will say the Hex Brig was pretty nasty. Wouldn't surprise me to see them go back into that for Suravasa, where it could get a little bit more brawly on the objectives, right? But the double speed is really good on Suravasa too. So we'll wait and see. I mean, all right. So it was a Genji ban this time out of Heatwave. A good ban. You know, Punk already has a good Genji. I think one of the most standout, if not the most standout hero when I think of Punkara, is gonna be that Genji. So a good ban heading into Suravasa. Could work out well. Could work out well. Let's get into it. Here, let me get you a pretty camera angle. Something other than just default start spot.
Five, four, three, two, one. Initial flashpoint market.
Heatwave going main. Gemini staying in here for about 4 and back, sticking with that Zarya as well. As they take that main street approach, Maverick in on the Ramatra, going back into that brawl comp with the Pakare in on the Mei. So, you know, just lock down the points. They can isolate a target with a Mei wall, early pick with an icicle. Try to out sustain here, but you know what? Industrial gets popped. Karma hits a Cheeto from across the way to find Industrial there very early on. Take a lot of the speed, the maneuverability out from Maverick. And the dominoes start to fall. From the battle of damage versus sustain, the damage output wins out here in the first fight. Karma even comes up with a hammer kill through all that. With Industrial falling early, Hex gets a significant lead there on this sound barrier. Once again, coming... Well, actually, this time coming through main. Last time, Artemis went around through stairs. Great wall, and that's that isolation you're looking for. You will lose Duck in the back if you're Artemis, but you do get control of the point. Monarchs has the orbital. Maverick does not get the torpedoes, does not get the healing, and the overclock from Spingar will wrestle down not only the tank, but the Juno as well when it's all said and done. Dorado comes with the final blow, but can't help but take Spingar to the bulk of the damage and continuing to lay down shots here. To own the market, you must get past Sengar. Texas not sound barrier in that previous fight. That sound barrier advantage ends up kind of nullified. It's gonna be the orbital rays tossed into this fight next. 99% on the board here for Heatwave. Spingar finding that opening kill once again. Blizzard thrown in, everything in the kitchen sink tossed out here from Artemis. Now we're going to put in the Annihilation and try to survive the Molten Core Graviton Surge combo. It was a 8-ult fight, I believe, with overclocks being vested in the fight before. Heatwave, take the point. Come around that top outside. Yeah, I love the crossfire, but might end up a little bit out of the fight. Oh. That looked like a Maverick DC. I immediately freaked bird. I was like, wasn't me. Wasn't me. Okay. So I think it was Maverick, but it looks like it cleared. Everybody kind of gets their bearings. Spingar throws in the OC, trying to keep Artemis off balance immediately after this pause. Might have been a couple of picks, but it hasn't been flawless. Funkerig able to help finish off those last couple of kills, and Artemis hanging on to grab first cap. Karma does have the only ultimate currently available, but 3 will be coming online if this fight draws out at all. Good bubble thrown into Karma, who's walled in up top, trying to get that molten core out. Karma, got out of there with 1, but then gets punished by Mardix over the top, who responds with the orbital ray. And Gemini just forced to kind of sit and poke on the outside. So much healing out of that orbital. Blizzard now tossed in from Punkare as well. And that got Spingar. Gemini still just scampering, trying to find anything. Trying to get any trade, any damage. We'll take anything at all. Unfortunately, it's just a quick trip back to spawn. To race the other side of the map. There's the big gauge. The wall is in. Gemini does drop the grab. That got quite a few with it. Duck's gonna fall. Maverick with the block up. Nemesis form already used. Speed ring already used. So it's the annihilation. The only thing left here for Maverick to throw into this fight. The final tool to try to work through Hex's sound barrier. It partially gets the job done, but there's still more work. 3v3 left on the point. Gemini corner. The speed ring not able to get them out. There goes Maverick into the back line. We'll hunt down what remains. First cap will once again go over to Artemis. Kind of playing in off the flank. Blizzard throwing in on the front line there from Artemis. And then everybody turns their attention back onto that Torbjorn. Knowing there was no reinforcements coming in, Karma was absolutely isolated. Well played out of Artemis, and this is going to get him across the 50% mark. One more fight win should give them a 2-1 lead here on Suravasa. But if anybody can turn this around, it's definitely Spingar. High ground leap with the overclock headshot onto Ducky immediately. Looking for another one. Oh, finds Mardox as well. Gets the shot in onto Pain Card. You see dodging the slow out from that cryo freeze. Tried to slide in where Maverick has punched down Gemini, who swapped over to an Orisa. Maverick lands a punch onto Hex, but gets booped away all the way off of the point. We get yet another pause. Fight had been lost, so honestly, like as far as timing goes, that could have been worse. That could have been worse. Maverick had just used their annihilation as well, so that definitely could have been worse there for Artemis. Both of our teams fighting through some technical issues. You know what? You just gotta put it behind him. Play the best Overwatch you can. Molten core thrown in from coming on the outside. Ooh, catches stuck up in that corner. Oh, right. Surgical placement there of the lava drops. You end up getting both DPS with that Molten Core. You know, not usually a high kill ultimate. You know, maybe more just battlefield control, but Karma ever to accurately use a Molten Core picks up both DPS. That's going to be the point going over to Heatwave.
Next, flashpoint, temple.
Great placement on the shield. Love the prediction on that. Just kind of knowing what angle they want to take Avenue to get in. Ooh, what an energy javelin. Gemini is going to go. Anybody else want to go jumping in the water? Wow. Trying to hunt down Sprinkler on the outside. Ooh, good damage. Did they overstep? Well, looks like Mardox is okay for the moment. Gemini, though, takes down Picker inside with this Terror Surge. And then turns all that attention onto Maverick as well. Industrial did not get booped off the outside. It is still lingering about. Ends up just kind of staggering themselves, though. 51% in the final flashpoint needed here for Heatwave to force this map 5. Photon barrier to dissect the point. Turrets on all sides, and Artemis just want to lock this down. Think they found an isolated Karma. See if they can take care of the Torm. They in fact can't. Good overwhelming force. Looks like it might have been a boot there out of Industrial. A little bit of a Lucio battle there. Maverick credited with that kill out of Gemini with a clever use of the Vortex, and looks like Artemis still got some fight in him yet here. I'm not going to let that DC, you know, boom him too much. Ooh, that is a point blank Spingar. Just some of that gun right in the kneecaps of Maverick. Now an overclock going down that small hallway. You have an annihilation thrown in, kind of fended off, shrugged off by Hex's Sound Barrier, but Kermit does not make the rotation. So a bit of a flip at the point. 5v4. Artemis are making their way back into this objective. They do have an overclock to work with, and Duck is going to pop that immediately. Getting pressed back by the Javiton Surge. It's being Garfane's Puncture. Maverick picks up one kill, but is losing teammates left and right. Gemini is seeing if they can cut them down even further. Just 2 players left here for Artemis on this point. Freakbirdo is going to find both supports. It's Gemini outside, Maverick all alone. Heatwave close out Suravasa and will send us to Dorado for a map 5.
This ends now. This is headshot. Disrupting. Cooling down.
Maddie says, what did I just witness? I mean, good question. They all, you know, it's a little warm in Suravasa. Sometimes you just need a good dip. Stats for map 4. My eyes are drawn to that damage line. You know, we saw Kerma and Spingar really kind of starting to output a ton of damage back in map 2. And even though Heatwave don't take that map, that trend has continued all the way into this final map of Escort. Spingar and Kerma really getting hot here in the back half of the series. Freakbirdo's internet's holding. Maverick's internet is waning. Artemis they need a hero. They need something to turn for him here. It is their map pick, though. It is their map pick. Let's see. We had Havana banned by Heatwave for the map pick. And then we actually had, this is the Diva Winston ban. Heatwave banning out Diva. Artemis banning out the Winston. Natchbro, thank you for the follow. Or Catchbro, thank you for the follow. Is this the best series in Expert so far? Kirkle says, gotta be. Yeah, yet another map 5. Apparently there was a map 5 over on Junker's stream as well. Battle of the map 5. Maverick says, I lost my drive, GG's. Oh no. It's about drive. It's about power. Jobish, thank you for the follow. All right. Heatwave in the blue outlines here for map 5. And Gemini is in on the hazard. In fact, we're getting both of our tanks out on a hazard. Maverick is also pulling out the hazard as well. Ooh, risky move there out of Freak Birdo. You're lucky you still have a head after that maneuver. From one bird to another, that was dangerous. Nothing, I'm the bird. Duck is the bird. Spingar more like sexy Pingar. Spingar more like Wingar. Can I get a round of applause? Warden with the prime sub. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A little bit of a high ground maneuver there out of Maverick. I think Gemini wanted to go give chase. This whole engagement kind of moves up there. Unfortunately, there wasn't as many Heatwave players up on top. Artemis able to trade out positively. It looks like with Maverick finding that kill on Karma there on that stairs. This could just be the point. It's pretty late kill there at the end. Spot the cat hidden in the blueberries. Okay, we are going to get a contest here at the very end. Do I hear a summer? Yep. Noted. Back into the front line. There's also a Margaret here out of Gemini. Gemini somehow manages to sneak past the jagged wall. That was kind of cool. Considering rush out of the back line. Duck and Quack is set up back here, but it's been forced out of that position. Now Freak Birdo responds with the considering rush of their own here up front. Spingar making the most of it. Picked up one. Lean up to the high ground where they just smash Duck in the face. Half the time eating off the clock, but Kark very close to that cap. Push along the backside there from Maverick. Has the downpour to throw in. Fingar's going to drop the overclock, and that is going to be enough to put an end to this. With the sound barrier thrown in. Ooh. Okay, it was a match on sound barriers, and with Gemini getting that kill on to Punkare, this defense will hold. I thought the trades, there might have been a moment there, but Hex was there for the sound barrier answer. So, no advantage. Loser IRL, thank you for the follow. Minute 10 remains. Pancrate pulls out the braid. The braid? Or the blade? It's a braided blade. Now hung in place by the cage fight out of Gemini. I mean, that has everybody in it. All guns pointed at the, at the hazard. Kerma comes up with 4 final blows in that fight. Woo! Kerma with the power of fungi. Aggress switches to the Pharah. It's the only map that Artemis did not ban out the Pharah. And in fact, it is Pankure who is going to utilize it in this one map. Even if just for these final 30 seconds, Freak Birdo as well as Spingar got a shot in. Now the Concerted Rush is going to be tossed right towards the bulk of the remains of this attacking Artemis squad. And Heatwave are in a prime position for this full hole. The only hope from the other side is Duck with this overclock from the high ground. Picks up Kurma. Slides in. Bounces off the jagged wall. Gets one shot into Lucio. The second shot is good. Now turns attention down onto Gemini. Just empty in that clip. In that overcharged overclock. Woo. A sweaty moment. Duck on Quack delivers. It's the last bastion of hope there for Artemis. It extends this time and extends this map 5. Joker, thank you for the raid, my friend. Thank you, thank you. I hope you enjoyed your map 5 banger. So I get Joker's ransom a shout out. If you're not following Joker, go follow Joker. What are you doing? What are you doing? God, what? What is Heatwave doing? That ambush was nasty. Artemis kind of split up. A couple went up top. I mean, Punker is way back here in point A. But you can see these two. We sent Duck and Industrial up to the high ground. And Gemini and the rest of Heatwave just charge right up the gut. Great kill from Duck, though, picking up Hex in this fight. The perfect opener, and once again, it's down to the wire for Artemis, but they dig deep and find an important fight win. Make some progress.
Now go get him.
5 Mile, thank you for the follow. Yeah, we both got 5 map bangers. You know, it was a good night. It was a good night for some FACEIT League.
60 seconds. This ends now.
Really trying to keep an eye on these double spoils coming out from the attacking Artemis. You know, Spingar gets some shots down across the way. Jagged Wall will block anything on the front line. Gemini moves inside the bank. Ooh, but that is a very vulnerable Hex. Running away with that sound barrier. Maverick is in pursuit. Backs up for the Mega. Rejoined by Punk Array there. Industrial makes it out. Duck and Quack does not. Still only 4 strong. Artemis is going to push in with their Kitsune Rush. Barrage to break the cage. Hex drops the sound barrier in the back, but Spingar is already down. Still, as both support ults fade, the time is getting lower and lower here for Heatwave. Excuse me, for Artemis to get this cap. Don't let the side swaps fool you. Duck on Quack with a high ground overclock. Finds Spingar immediately. Molten Car unleashed down low from Kerma all over this point. Well, there's just lava everywhere. Still, Gemini is low. Maverick has been able to toe the line beautifully down here. Now has 3 low squishies in front of him. Kerma picked up by Duck. And looks like once again, the overtime push successful here out of Artemis. Claris has just finished my match in Expert, winning 3-1. Congratulations. Maverick does not have the extended leap. I don't know if that way. I was thinking that might be able to help get you to this high ground, but not rolling here. Does have a downpour to work with, and well, has a lot of friends as well. Oh, Gemini just put themselves in a really bad spot. Got so focused on trying to finish off Maverick. Gave up a lot of control on that high ground, where we've now got Duck on Quack poised. 30 seconds to go. And Artemis threatening yet another overtime cap. Sound barrier on the high ground. Considering rush down low, and a 3, 4, 5 kills in the feed. This one doesn't even take the yellow bar to come out. Fantastic final fight there from Mardux and the rest of Artemis. Good night, Joker. Thanks again for the raid. Pink are coming out of Neko here for this defense. We are seeing the hazard once again out of Maverick. Welcome back, Jugger.
Payload's advancing. Let's stop it. Scaling up.
Oh, I'm back. Sorry. I had to blow my nose real quick. Good first fight there out of Artemis. Worth the teleport attempts. And now we're going to get wholesale swaps. Pretty much full comp swap out from Heatwave. Get a little Wrecking Ball here out of Gemini. We saw a bit of Wrecking Ball on Samoa. Haven't seen a whole lot since. Maverick dropping down, trying to deal with the supports on point. But very quickly, Gemini is there. And I think Maverick second guessed that idea. Gemini rolls back up to the high ground. Alongside Kermer, they're able to move in and really just close the vice here on this Artemis defense. Industrial, I mean, good job just to get out of there in one piece, to be honest. Punkeray returns on the Sombra, gets the hack in, and everybody converges onto Gemini. Gemini not able to get out of that corner and back up with the rest of the team. You saw the three at the top of your screen trying to disengage. I think, yeah, Karma was still stuck in that right corner as well. 5v3 now for this defense here out of Iliad Artemis. Double support ults alongside Downpour and directly behind that an overclock here from this defense. Hex still a little bit behind. Should get it directly. Just didn't consider rush out of Mardix to start things off. That goes right up Main Street. You do have Duck heading up to this high ground. And there goes Maverick getting chased. Looks like there's a disengage into that small room. They're out of Heatwave. Respond with their own Kitsunes. Minefield way into the back there from Gemini. Does get hacked, trapped, caught, rooted, blown to smithereens. The sound barrier touch light. They're out of Hex. Spingar still able to get an overclock onto this point. And it looks like despite being tankless, Heatwave should be able to pick up this cap. Oops. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Good Suzu, but it's still not going to be enough to fend off a beautiful EMP out there from Punkere. Nice wall from Maverick is through that as well. Perfectly positioned, denied some healing. Maybe even blocked some of the effect from that Suzu, as a matter of fact. Beautiful engagement. One ult invested, and Pankara swaps over to the Tracer. Right down the stairwell. Now we're going to big leap in over the top. Decide they're going to go for Gemini on this Soj instead. Ooh, I don't know that Karma got that pulse out. I saw it was thrown in. Either way, there's no kill on the back of it, but ooh. Zarya inside of a Kitsune Rush extraordinarily powerful. Just getting those bubbles back so fast. And with that extra tick damage. can be super nasty, and Maverick is eventually run down with all that extra pressure. But Gemini has to put themselves in the middle of a ton of crossfire to find that kill. So both tanks off the battlefield. A little bit of a battle of high ground here between Kerma and Duck. Kerma deflects Duck shots and gets the kill out of Artix with them. Oh. Beautiful little outplay there out of Kerma. This point B is suddenly looking very up for grabs. Svingar with the overclock here from the high ground, dueling Duck and Quack on the other side. Conqueror did throw into the pulse down low sound barrier invested up top. That sound barrier from Industrial will force Svingar down low. Here comes Industrial in the chase. Once that duel, we'll get it with a little help from Pencock. Pencorrect. Sound barrier fading on this point. Numbers advantage for the defense of Artemis. Pencorrect will finish off Gemini. And Heatwave go back to the drawing board with 45 seconds remaining. Downboard Kitsune here for this defense. One last hold. Then Artemis will take the series, and an opening kick on a Karma. It's not what you want to see here if you're a Heatwave. Spingar is going to fall as well. The Kitsune Rush has to be invested from the Heatwave, despite being down both DPS. There's just no other option. And it's just a sneak around, a desperate move where Gemini's able to pick up one, 2v4 left on this point. The Graviton Surge was used to get and secure that one kill. But Gemini with the lowest tank, with the lowest health pool in the game. Not going to last long here. And indeed, Artemis will deny the reverse sweep as they hold on in Dorado. I mean, taking point A and point B in overtime. An incredibly close map. One that looked like Heatwave could have gotten the full hold. Turns out those picks on the back, that was it. That was it, that trade. We saw the tanks trade out, and then that heroic play. I mean, what a heroic play. They're out of it was out of Doc. It was Doc who stepped up there for Artemis. And I mean, it had the only ult, was walking into 3 Heatwave ultimates, including both support ultimates. And Duck holds on to that overclock till the very, very end. And oh my goodness, what a clutch play out of Duck to make sure they secure that point A. That ends up being, I mean, the play of the series. As far as that was the play of the series. I mean, Spingar had been a tour de force throughout the rest of this series. Let's take a look at some stats. Speaking of, where Spingar had led in damage for the past 3 maps. Goes back the other way. Maverick is able to take it, but even so, it's Duck. Look, when just focusing on DPS, Duck comes out on top there in Dorado. And that's what we asked for. That's what Artemis had to do. They had to find a way to keep Spingar quieter without a standing play on point A. My goodness. What a series. I felt like we had like 3 separate plays in this series that could be highlight of the week worthy. I mean, it was a nuts series. That was incredible. Quite possibly the best expert match we have had all season long.